billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Are you tired of seeing homeless people? Yeah. Kill them.
Involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
That is very pro-life of him. And then they continue the conversation like Kilmeade didn't just suggest unaliving people whose only crime is not affording a house. Sure sounds like one of those post-birth abortions they accused the left of having. And then Blondie, skirting past the whole execute the poor comment, asks,
why did it have to get to this point?
Right.
Wages not keeping up with housing prices, funding cuts for addiction and mental health care, an increase in the unhoused elderly population. You want me to go on? But why help the poor like that Jesus guy they all say Layla would do, when you could just give them all the needle instead?
Did you know that if you take 2 steps that way and then turn left, you can get the fuck out of my face?
Hi guys, this is Tiana and you're watching Tiana's React. So as a TV presenter who speaks to millions of people, the very first thing you should guard is your mouth. But Brian of Fox News went on air and actually said that homeless people should be given lethal injections. Can you imagine that? A statement like that is not meant to slip out of the mouth of someone who knows his words carry weight, whether consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly. This is absolutely unacceptable. Well, let's dive in and see other people's reactions to this.
We cannot normalize this. Brian Kilmeade of Fox said this morning, why don't we just quote involuntary lethal injection or something, just unalive them, when talking about homeless individuals or the mentally ill? The Fox News hosts were talking about the mental health crisis in this country, of which there absolutely is one. But this is giving Germany in the 1930s, and I'm talking to you now as a historian who focused exclusively on that regime. And I know people absolutely hate when parallels are drawn between today's society in the United States and the German regime in the 1930s and 40s, but there are parallels that we cannot ignore, because what they did in the 1930s was, involuntarily euthanize the mentally ill. They locked them up and they got rid of them. They did that to anyone who was undesirable. And now we have television personalities, not even journalists, TV personalities, because that's what Brian Kilmeade is, saying, why don't we just involuntarily give them the lethal injection or something?
So I'm struggling right now. As bad as Fox News is, this is like a new low for them even. So Brian Kilmeade today, or yesterday, was on TV, and basically they were talking about people that need help, homeless people, and one of the gentlemen said, you either accept the help the government's giving you or you're going to be locked up in jail. That's it. And then Kilmeade says, yeah, or involuntary lethal injection. Just kill them. Brian Kilmeade on Fox News to millions of people suggested euthanizing, murdering people less fortunate than him. People with mental health illnesses, maybe veterans, maybe not, but it doesn't even matter. Human lives. What has happened in this country between the murder of Charlie Kirk and now a Fox News host calling for euthanizing, killing, murdering the down and out? I just got to say this to Christians out there. If you cheer on what Brian Kilmeade says, I've got to tell you, those are the exact people that he's suggesting killing. Those are the exact people that if Jesus was walking earth today, that he would be hanging out with. Those would be the people that he would have in his company. Jesus wouldn't be going to Fox News and hanging out with all the makeup people with Mar-a-Lago face. He'd be hanging out with the exact people that are being deported, that are, in situations much less fortunate than him. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. And if Fox News doesn't fire him, and they won't, they have no right ever to complain again about what anybody says.
So listen, this is a man openly calls for the murder of the poor, and nobody on that panel flinched. Not one. Nobody had a reaction like, I can't believe you said that. Nobody said that's not appropriate. Nobody flinched. That is exactly where we are. Now, a reporter got fired at MSNBC for something bad, saying something bad about, I think, Matthew Dowd. But this reporter openly calls for the murder, the unaliving of poor, mentally ill people. And no one says a word. Do you know who else openly advocated for the murder of the mentally ill and the poor? You know who else did that? Without anybody flinching? I wonder who that was.
So Fox host Brian Kilmeade said the other day that they should just force a lethal injection on homeless people. And after that got a lot of negative feedback, and I mean a lot, now Brian Kilmeade issues an apology. Here is the clip.
In the morning, we were discussing the murder of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte, North Carolina, and how to stop these kinds of attacks by homeless, mentally ill assailants, including institutionalizing or jailing such people so they cannot attack again. Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark. I'm obviously aware that not all mentally ill homeless people act as the perpetrator did in North Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy.
I think it's important to remember that you, as the consumer, have every right to keep every mass media outlet accountable, and you can do that by sheer volume alone. Anyways, you can follow for more news updates, but you don't have to.
So Brian Kilmeade on Fox News said that we should just eradicate homeless people. We should just kill them. That's what he said. And yeah, I would like to know if Brian Kilmeade has ever actually been directly affected by a homeless person, aside from him maybe feeling uncomfortable when he's outside and sees an unhoused person. Yeah. I wonder if Brian Kilmeade has ever had a situation where he was in threat of becoming homeless, or even of missing a meal. Because I would venture a guess that no, probably not for a guy like Brian Kilmeade. Now, I don't watch the guy, and this certainly isn't incentive for me to start watching him, but that is a special kind of twisted. And I think it's pretty telling that he is part of the Fox News family, the Fox News family. So Brian Kilmeade just decided to let us know who he is and how he really feels about other human beings. And I would say unequivocally, without question, nobody can argue that Brian Kilmeade has lost the plot. Brian Kilmeade is failing at what it is to be a human in a society. He can't make space for other people who are less fortunate than him. And he doesn't have a solution for it. No, that would be too hard. He doesn't want to think about it. Are you kidding? He doesn't want to expend any energy. He just doesn't want to share, and that's it. And because he doesn't want to share, and he is so associated with being in a power position, well, he thinks that somebody should just get rid of them. Now, he's not going to be the one to get rid of them, but he just thinks that, you know, he can sit on that couch and he can say, we should get rid of them. And then somebody will carry that out. Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know, all of the right-wing folks who are calling for violence right now. They're not going to go commit it themselves. No, they're asking their minions to go do it. They're asking their radicalized minions to go cause harm. And so, we're in a situation where we have some real fat cats. These are always the fat cat men who've never really struggled, who've had their lives handed to them on a silver platter, and still, they are so paranoid about losing power that they have to go about stacking it in their
billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
So guys, at the end of the day, Brian Kilmeade is not just any random person. He's a TV host with a massive audience. Words like these are not supposed to come from someone in his position. You don't play with human lives in your speech and turn all over again to come and apologize. Apologize for what exactly? This should never ever slip out of his mouth. It shouldn't slip out of his mouth. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. Do well to drop your thoughts in the comments, like, and of course subscribe to support the channel. Till next time, stay good and